What's going on, everybody? What's going on? It's your boy Ron Rana out of Houston, Texas. Welcome back, everybody, to the Real Estate Anarchy podcast. Today, I have a very special guest with me. She's currently backstage. I got her mic muted, but we're going to bring her on. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. She is an agent. She's an investor. She's a wholesaler closing multiple deals a month. She's a rock star of the Wholesaling RE 101 universe, one of my superstar students. Guys, she is a powerhouse, okay? Roxanna Plaza is in the house. Roxanna, it's wonderful to have you. But before I get you on, I do want to say a few good things about you. You know, I have to say good things about you because you pay me to say good things about you, right? Is that how podcasts work? He hasn't paid me for this, guys, right? But I wanted to make sure we highlight a lot of the success that's, you know, happening in and around our community. I've watched her growth. She's doing phenomenal things. She's from Palmyra, Colombia. She's a real estate agent, investor. She serves the residential side and the commercial side. Guys, not many agents serve commercial sides, which, you know, piques a lot of my interest, right? She's lived in Colombia for almost, she was living in Colombia, and it says for 17 years, she was in Colombia. She graduated, moved back to the United States to finish her studies. She has a bachelor's in organizational management. Wow, good stuff, guys. So without further ado, I want to welcome Roxanna. But before then, everybody, welcome to the Real Estate Anarchy podcast. All right, without further ado, Roxanna Plazas, welcome to the Real Estate Anarchy podcast. It's so great to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here with you today.
All right, so tell our viewers a little bit about you, who you are, what you're doing here, why are you even being interviewed on a podcast. Let's learn about Roxanna Plazas.
Okay, well, just as you mentioned, you know, I'm a real estate agent and I'm also an investor and now a wholesaler in the Houston area. I was born here in the US, but I grew up in Colombia, came back when I was 17, did high school, graduated, everything. And then I decided, you know, that I wanted to become a real estate agent because, you know, I have always liked the real estate side. My mom is an architect, so ever since I was little, you know, I saw her building houses. And then I said, okay, well, you know, I like the career and I like helping people because at the end of the day, that's what you do. You help people get, you know, the house of their dreams.
100%, right? And what great, you know, I give it up to agents. I decided not to become an agent because of the headache of people, right? But yes. I give it up every time I talk to an agent. I always tell them, man, I couldn't do what you do. I can't show 20 houses and then the buyer will be like, I'm going to go buy from my cousin, right? So
yeah.
You guys sure do have a lot of patience. So now that you kind of told us a little bit about, you know, kind of who you are, you know, tell us why real estate. Why did you choose real estate? You have a bachelor's degree in organizational management, right? So why did you choose real estate?
Okay, so, you know, like I started thinking, you know, either I work my way up in a company, so I have to start from the bottom and then build my way up, or, you know, do real estate. It's something that I've always liked. And not only because of the money, because you do make good money, And, because of the flexibility, you can manage your own schedule, your own hours. But because I really, really like to help people, talk to people, even, as a realtor, you help them get the house that they want. You list their property for them to get it sold for the right price. But as a wholesaler, you also provide them with a solution whenever, they're stuck with a property that they owe taxes on. They cannot, invest on repairs, none of that stuff. So basically, you're giving them a solution. You're giving them money for their property that they can really do anything with it. And then they can use that money towards something that they actually want to do, either a trip, help their kids get in college. So that's pretty much why, I like real estate.
Awesome. So you do take a lot of exotic vacations. So I'm assuming it has a lot to do with real estate?
Not all the time, but I do like to travel a lot. And that's, I don't know, it's like my hobby. When I'm working, I'm here in Houston, I'm dedicating my full time to everything. But I like to take, my days off and go somewhere new outside of the US where, I can meet different people, different cultures. So that's pretty much why.
Awesome. Awesome. Now that we're kind of coming out of the pandemic, right? A lot of things are getting back to normal. Tell us about how COVID-19 has affected your business, or how did it affect your business? Did you ever stop? Did you ever, did business ever pick up? What did you do differently during the pandemic in your real estate career? And what is happening now in your business?
Okay, so since I do both, I'm a realtor and I'm a wholesaler. So at the beginning, when I was, being a realtor, we were all scared because so the market, it's been crazy, right? Houses are selling over asking price. They keep selling over asking price. And I work a lot with first-time home buyers. So that's a little bit challenging with them because these people don't have the money to, come out of pocket with 20, 30, 40, because I've been having to write offers for like 40,000 plus for my buyers to be able to get a house. So on that side, it did slow down a little bit. As far as my single family buyers, but I still have buyers that, they qualify for a conventional loan and have the money to pay, over asking price for the properties. And on the investment side, it never slowed down. We're still selling properties. We're still getting them, even if sellers say, they want over asking. There's always deals out there, and we're still moving deals.
That's so funny you say that. We're still moving deals. That's awesome, right? The pandemic had shifted a lot of us to go virtual. Are you virtual, or are you how are you, in other words, whenever you're going to go out and take a look at these properties, are you physically going out there and taking a look at these properties, or are you 100% virtual?
No, I'm still physically going to see the properties.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you only in Houston, or are you in the surrounding areas like Beaumont, Galveston, Port Arthur? Are you around these areas also? Do you do anything in San Antonio or Dallas?
As an investor, yeah. I have buyers in San Antonio. I have buyers in Dallas. As a realtor, I try to stay local. So Houston, Katy, Sugar Land, Houston and surroundings pretty much.
Houston and surroundings? Awesome. Okay, great. So let me ask you this. I'm going to deep dive right into your business and ask you, what does business look like right now?
Can you repeat that again? Because you were breaking up. I couldn't hear you.
Sorry. What does your business look like right now?
No. Hold on. No, I can't really hear you. But let me see.
I don't know if you can hear me now, but I was asking you, what is your business doing right? What are you doing right now in your business?
Okay. You mean as far as marketing, or?
Right. As far as marketing going right now.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, so I'm doing basically, for the wholesaling side, I do bandit signs. I have my own website. I do driving for dollars. And sometimes on the weekends, I just drive around the neighborhoods where, most of my investors are asking me for properties. I also, I try to connect with people all the time. That's why I'm always going to investors events, because you never know who do you meet, you can connect with, and get more properties. I even tell my family and friends, look, if you're in the neighborhood and you're just walking, let me know if you see a property with tall grass, and with signs that no one's living there, and let me know the address so that I can see if I can get it under contract and give you a marketing fee for it.
Okay, awesome. So let me ask you this: you said you have a lot of bird dogs, right?
Yes.
People do deals. You also go to networking events, right? I hope you're coming to contracts, right? Are you?
Yes. I mean, I always go to your events, but this time I'll be traveling.
You do. Absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate you always coming to the WRU101 to help out. So, and then you're also telling me that, whenever you do, now let me ask you this. Whenever you get a retail listing, what do you do when a seller says, I want X amount and I'm not looking to sell right now for this amount that you just offered me, right? I don't want to take 90 grand. I want 160 grand. What do you bring to the table for the consumer, for the seller?
And are you talking about a property that I'm going to list on the market? Like a property?
Say you get a deal. Say you get a deal, right? You're cold calling and you call up a seller, and the seller says, no, I won't take this amount. I want this amount, right? Because a lot of people are having that issue right now. They're saying that they're not going to accept X amount. Instead, they'll take retail. You're in a position where you're a realtor. So what solution do you provide for your sellers, and what can people do with their sellers too now, being, in that position?
Okay, so, well, I have the option, right? Because I'm a realtor, but of course, I always want to get properties to wholesale because the fees are better. So what I do is I run my numbers, I run the comps, and I try to bring people back to reality, because a lot of them, they think that their house is worth that much. But if you show them the numbers and you actually tell them, look, this kind of house, it's selling for this much because look at all the upgrades it has, but yours is not there yet, So that's pretty much what I try to do, educate them on that side, basically. And most of the time, they're willing to come down in price, because they now realize that, as an investor, you need to make money. They need to make money, but you need to make money as well. That's the reason why we're not looking for deals on the MLS. We're looking for deals, actually calling them. And we don't pay, again, realtor fees. So that's another thing. And we pay all closing costs.
Okay, perfect. So you're able to. We're getting a lot of questions on the back end, and I'm going to start asking those questions too. So guys, if you have any questions for Roxanna as a realtor, right? And there's a fine line between becoming a wholesaler as a realtor, right? Because sometimes what people do is that they'll wholesale the deal, but they don't give option B, right? So that's the question. So whenever a seller says, I don't want to take a less amount, do you offer to list it for them on the MLS?
Yes, okay. I always do, if it's a deal that I know, because I try to explain to them, there's deals that are not worth putting on the MLS because these people need the money right away. So I'm not going to put a deal that it has so many repairs on the MLS for whatever asking price that they want. It's just going to sit on the market. And I explain that to them. I even sometimes take my phone and I'm like, look how many properties are just sitting on the market just because they're overpriced. So it's either, you accepting this offer, or you're taking the risk of, listing the property, having to pay your for closing costs, having to pay realtor fees, and maybe not selling the property at all.
Okay, well, that's a pretty good option. I mean, being a realtor, it does help your book of business, right?
Yeah, but if the property is in good condition and I know that it can sell on the market as well, of course I'm gonna list it.
Awesome.
I'm not gonna say no to money.
Everybody likes money, right? Good stuff. So how do you bridge? So someone asked a question. How do you go in as a wholesaler and then become a realtor? Like, what do you do? What do you say? Is there a disclaimer that because I know realtors have to provide a disclaimer, right?
Yes.
So tell us about that. Like, how do you go in? What is your first strategy? So what they're asking is, how do you act as a realtor after you just lowball them?
Okay, so basically, I always present myself as an investor because I am an investor, but I when they say no, this and that, and I can see the potential on the listing side, I always just tell them, I am also a realtor.
Yeah.
And it's perfectly fine as long as you present yourself as an investor first. It's totally fine for you to say you're a realtor.
Okay, but do you tell them you're not there acting as their realtor? You're there acting as an
investor.
Boom. Okay, yeah. I just want to make that clear.
Yes.
Because that's the caveat, right? That's the fine line between you actually telling them that you're a realtor, but you're not here acting as a realtor. You're here acting as an investor, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. So I want to go back. We have some marketing questions. Someone said bird dog. How do you look for your bird dogs being a realtor? Because you run into people all the time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
look for your bird dogs? So
that's the thing. A lot of the people already know me as a realtor, and they know me as a wholesaler. So, sometimes they know that, if they bring me a deal, I'm going to pay them a marketing fee. If it closes, So, and sometimes I just create, social media. I send, a flyer or whatever it is so that they know that they can bring me a deal. And if it closes, I'm going to pay them.
Okay, that's pretty straightforward. So my question is, segueing into that, what do you pay an average bird dog to bring you a deal?
It all depends on how much, because we usually try to make at least 10K off a deal. So I'm going to give them at least, I usually pay between 500 to 1,000, depends on how much I'm going to make on the deal.
Okay, can I bring you some deals? $1,000 sounds like a lot of money.
Hey, I said at least 500, 1,000, depending on how much money I'm making.
Okay, all right, fine. Yeah. Fine. You said 1,000. All I heard was 1,000. So it's kind of like when we tell the seller, yeah, I'm between 55 to 85. What did the seller hear? 85.
85. Yeah.
So I heard $1,000 psychologically. Awesome. Cool. So we got some pretty good comments that are dropping, and I'm gonna get back to those questions. But I do want to move forward with our podcast too. So the next question I want to ask you is, how do you structure yourself as an authoritative figure when dealing with sellers that are going through the COVID-19, forbearance?
Okay. So basically, I am the expert, right, on the market. I'm the one that knows the market. So, they usually think, people think that they know, but they really don't know. So again, I
wait, can you repeat that again? People think they know, but they really don't know?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of the sellers, they're like, I saw this house in this neighborhood selling for this much, and then you go check and they were like, no, it didn't even sell for that much, so I try to educate them on that side, to be honest with you.
That is awesome. So you mentioned this a couple of times. Now, when you say you sound like a sophisticated investor. So you don't just go in, lowball them, trying to get them out of their house and make a quick $10,000 fee. It sounds like you're actually trying to provide a solution. And when you say educate them, what are you educating them on?
On the actual price or value of their house. You know, like their house needs like 50K on repairs, so it's not gonna sell for the same amount that their neighbor house sold for, just because there's a big difference between a house that needs work and another one that doesn't. And just because their neighbor's house sold for 150, and you think you can sell yours for 150, but yours has like 400 square feet less. So it's not, I try to explain that to them and actually build a relationship with them. Sometimes you have to like follow up with them. You're not going to get the deal on the first call, maybe not the second call, but if you establish a relationship, you can always go back to them and eventually they'll sell to you.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, that's the most important part. So it sounds like you're saying the fortune is in the follow-up.
Yes, definitely.
How many times do you follow up with sellers?
As many times as needed, but usually, at least 3 times. Yeah.
Okay.
Like for example, today, I've been trying to get a hold of this seller. She told me she's trying to sell this property, and we ran comps on that property this morning, actually. And she told me she's already working with someone that's offering more money for the property, but she doesn't know if it's gonna go through or not. So, I always leave the door open, and I always tell them, okay, is it okay if I call you back, next week, this day, to see if, if things move forward, if things actually went okay with your seller. But if they didn't, you can always work with me.
Absolutely. So, and then what do you do from there?
Well, I just see if I can get the deal, basically. If it didn't work out with somebody else that was, that I always try to tell them that I can close on, less than 20 days. So that's a plus. The other person was trying to get an option period. So I don't ask for option periods.
Okay. Why don't you ask for an option period?
Just because it's an investment home. We're not, again, I'm an investor. I'm not listing their property on the MLS. So we don't do option periods.
Okay, that's a huge gem, because a lot of wholesalers are always asking in these groups, how much option period should I give the seller, or how much, earnest money deposit should I give the seller? So speaking of earnest money deposits, how much earnest money deposits do you normally give on contracts?
I usually ask, if it's cash, $3,000. If it's hard money, $4,500.
No, that's for your buyers. I'm talking about to
the sellers. Okay,
you're always thinking big money. No, right? I know what you're thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
How much earnest money deposit are you giving?
$10. $10.
You said $10? Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay, cool. So is there a technique that you're doing in order to put $10 earnest money deposit?
So what I do is I send them the contract with the $10, right? And then, they're responsible for reading the contract. I'm not going to go and explain to them everything. I'm like, Mr. Seller, this is the contract, read over it, sign it. If you have any questions, just try to see it on your own, and get with someone that can explain it to you if you don't understand anything. But it's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty simple, and they usually sign it and they don't even notice that the earnest money is $10. And the ones that do notice and want more money, I explain to them that I'm buying multiple properties at the same time, so I cannot have my money tied to a single property. And anyways, I explained to them that it's to open title. We're just, we're going to close in 20 days or less. And they're usually okay with it.
Awesome. I think that's a huge nugget and a huge gem alert for a lot of these people who would say, hey, seller wants $5,000 down. or seller wants he wants 2,500 down, or they want 1,800 down. I see it all the time. So do you set that expectation up front with the seller? I mean, because when they're reading the contract, it kind of pops up, right? Like, hey, you're only doing 10 grand. So how do you negate that, or how do you deflect that issue?
Basically, because it's a cash transaction. I'm paying them cash. I'm paying for the closing cost. Whenever, they put a big amount of earnest money, it's because, they're having to go through, a lender. It's a conventional loan. It's an FHA loan. So I have to try to explain to them that this is not, a transaction that's getting done through the MLS. It's an investment. So things are worked differently.
Okay, that definitely makes a lot of sense. So moving on, let's talk about, the city that you're in. You say you're predominantly in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
Do you invest anywhere else outside of Houston?
No, right now, no. I mean, I want to expand to other places, but right now I'm just, Houston and surroundings. That's what I do the most.
Okay, so tell us about your market. Tell us about Houston. If someone who doesn't know about Houston, who's watching this podcast, tell us about Houston. Tell us about your market.
Okay, so Houston, there's a lot of potential to make money in Houston with these investment properties, because there's a lot of properties actually that are vacant that have issues. The sellers have issues with taxes. There's a lot of people that owe taxes on these properties, and especially right now, there's some areas in downtown that used to be full of this really cheap houses, and now they're actually building new townhomes, duplexes. So it's booming, and we're having so many people coming from other cities to live in Houston because there's the life in Houston is cheaper than in other states. So there's so many people coming here to Houston now that the real estate it's booming.
Awesome, cool. So there's a lot of people coming from California, or where are they coming from?
Yeah, pretty much from California, and from all over the United States, to be honest with you. I've been helping a lot of buyers from California to get, their houses here. And that's another reason why real estate, it's getting expensive, because they're moving from other states where, real estate is way more expensive. So with the same money that they couldn't get a house there, they can get it here.
Awesome, cool. So we got a couple of comments that I'm going to be dropping. Zucky said $0 EMD. So all right, good stuff. So there's ways to do $10 earnest money deposit, and there's ways to do $0 earnest money deposits, and awesome, good stuff. So Houston sounds like it's a pretty booming city, regardless, pandemic or no pandemic, right?
Yes, and definitely it never stopped. It never slowed down with the pandemic. Interest rates went low, like really low compared to other years. People were buying like crazy. They're still buying like crazy. And then the inventory is really low. So we need more houses. And that's the reason why we have all these investors buying houses to rehab, so that they can go in the market for a good price.
So you said something that intrigued me, which was interest rates. You, as a realtor, what are you seeing right now in the market for interest rates for your retail buyers? Okay,
so my buyer, the last transaction, which is actually under contract right now, he's at 2.8% interest.
Oh, wow. 2.8%.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So it's pretty good. I mean, it depends on your credit, but if people have really good credit and they can get qualified for a conventional loan, they can see even lower rates. Like I've seen others even at 2.2.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And now, being as a wholesaler, do you see a lot of sellers that are dealing with the forbearance right now? Is that still kind of something that you're running into every day, especially being, how do you deal with forbearance clients being a realtor?
So basically, I haven't personally run into, clients that are going through forbearance, to be honest with you. But I I will treat them like any other client. But to be honest with you, I'm not running into that issue myself.
Okay, cool. I mean, everyone is different. A lot of people are running into it. Some of the people are not. The city of Houston is so big, we barely run into each other on deals. So
Yes.
I know exactly how it is. A lot of people ask me all the time and say, hey, do you guys ever run into each other on deals? Not really, because the city is so big, and 99% of the time, our students usually get the deal. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
All right.
I've never run into the same deal of, somebody else or no. So, I mean, there's, like I said, Houston is so big. There's really no competition because it's huge. I mean, there's so many properties out there. The chances of you running into the same property, it's really low.
Is there any specific price point that you deal with whenever you're looking for houses to wholesale?
I try to stay under 150.
Okay.
So because a lot of the fix and flip buyers are looking for cheap properties so that they can make a good profit. And
Okay.
I do have a lot of buyers that look in Katy. If it's in Katy, they're willing to pay more. So I have buyers that pay up to 220 on a house in Katy, even if it needs rehab, because of people think it's not that they think, Katy does have a really good school district, and it's established, it's been established. So that's the reason why it has the ranking that it has. So because of that reason, because of the schools, a lot of people like to buy in Katy.
Okay. No, that makes a tremendous amount of, it makes sense. Tremendous amount of success. So success. It makes a tremendous amount of sense. Sorry. Yes. So awesome. So let me ask you this, right? We all read books. Successful people read a lot of books. What is your favorite book to get started in real estate investing? Or, let's talk about when you first got started, right? Where did you begin learning about real estate investing or wholesaling in general?
So I don't have a book in a specific, but I do read a lot of books that have to deal with how to approach clients, how to become successful at what you do. And as far as educating myself on how to become a wholesaler, watching videos of people like you. Well, of course, I'm taking your classes. It's been a journey for me. So, and I try to share it with people that are doing the same thing as me. But yeah, I try to read a lot of books that are inspirational, basically.
Okay. What is one of your favorite inspirational books?
There's one that I'm reading. Let me see if I have the name right here.
And guys, as you're viewing it, we have many people viewing the podcast right now. If you have any questions, make sure you're dropping your questions below. Don't private message me questions because I've got a lot of private messages with questions in it. I want to show your questions on the screen. So make sure you guys are asking your questions for Roxanna. This is your time to chew her brain and ask her all the questions that you want to ask her. So if you're enjoying the podcast, drop the fire emoji, drop the gem emoji, whatever you want to drop, let us know. And Roxanna is actually getting back to us on one of her favorite self-development or motivational books. So which one would that be, Roxanna?
Okay, so there's one that I'm trying to remember which ones. There's one by Michelle Obama that I liked. It's called
Okay.
Becoming. So that's one of the books that I read. Which other ones? By Kiyosaki. I read all his books.
Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yes, yeah. I think everyone should read that book, to be honest with you. Even if you're trying to get into wholesaling or real estate, that's a really good book.
Awesome. Rich Dad Poor Dad is it's kind of like the Bible of real estate in general, right? Not only real estate investing, but wealth in general.
Yeah.
So a lot of people always say, I picked up Rich Dad Poor Dad and my life has never been the same after that, right?
Yeah.
I enjoyed that book a lot. So that is a huge, huge gem for you guys. So Tori Henderson asks, how do you find your wholesale deals?
Okay, so I drive for dollars. I have bandit signs. I have my website. I have call virtuals, so they do all the calls for me. I pull.
Shout out to POWERHOUSE.com. Yeah, my manager Francesca is on she's tuned in right now. So if you POWERHOUSE.com.
They do an awesome job. I mean, I get at least three leads a day. So can you imagine? I have 2 cold callers now, which is awesome. So
yeah, so you should be doing like 6 to 9 leads a day.
Oh my God. Yeah. I actually
qualified leads, right? These are not just, I want 500,000 for my house. No, these are actually scripts, qualified leads, and trained VA. So awesome. Thank you for that plugin. I wasn't expecting that one. So what else do you do for marketing?
I try to get with the USPS delivery people. And that's a really good way to try, to get leads. Just think about it. They're driving the city, dropping the mail, and they can see when a house is vacant, when it has tall grass, when, you can tell that it's a property that you can make money off of it. So that's pretty much what I do. But I enjoy driving for dollars, to be honest with you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, when you're driving for dollars, what do you do? What do you have, like a notepad? Do you have your cell phone with you? Do you have your handy dandy app? What kind of app do you use when you're driving for dollars? What do you do when you're driving for dollars?
So, I use PropStream, right? So, I have my phone with me. I just plug in the address and I'm able to skip trace it and call the seller right then and there. So, that's what I do. And sometimes when I don't have the time to actually be, calling right then and there, I'll just write it down and then I'll add it to my list and then I'll have my call callers do it for me.
You just went blank. Sorry, say it again.
That when I don't have the time to actually call them, I just write down the addresses and then I'll call the next day or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I have tried postcards, but I've noticed it really doesn't work much on the wholesale side. It might work, it works as a realtor, I guess, because of the neighborhoods. But when it comes to these properties, if it's an owner absentee or whatever, it's just gonna be stuck in the mail and they're never gonna see it. So I'd rather actually get on the phone and call.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're saying that you would rather call them and get in touch with the seller as opposed to sending them a postcard. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Absolutely. And that makes a lot of sense because the one who gets to the seller first usually gets the deal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the cool thing about cold calling is you're not waiting for the seller to call you. You are calling the seller, right?
Yes,
so
definitely.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're having tremendous success with call virtuals. I definitely appreciate the plug. I wasn't really expecting that. So let me ask you this. So, you were a realtor. You knew about wholesaling, right? When you first started wholesaling, or you wanted to learn from someone who was doing the business, right? How important is it to get a mentor?
Oh, it's 100% needed. You know, when you're learning, you are unsure of so many things, and getting a mentor helps you to actually learn how to, fill out your contracts, learn how to actually get in touch with the sellers. So basically, they'll walk you through every single step of actually wholesaling a property. So yeah, and I have the best one right here. Because
I'm like,
you know
uh, 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 completely unscripted, guys. I'm just asking about your mentors. Like, okay.
yeah, I mean, there's days when I'm actually like, it's calling you so many times, and I'm like, Ronnie's gonna get so tired of me, but
That's okay. That's okay. So,
right?
for everyone who doesn't know this, the reason why we're laughing is because Roxanna is she's a student of mine. She's a one-on-one mentoring student. So she gets to be coached by me one-on-one, not in a group setting or anything like that. So she has full access. Moving forward to your success in the program, Roxanna, what has your experience been with the program and coming in as a mentee? Because you were a realtor, you knew what real estate was. So is this program only for beginners, or is it for people who don't know how to wholesale? Because apparently when you came into the program, you knew a lot about real estate. You had a couple of years under you had a couple of years under your belt, right? So what has your experience been in the program?
Oh, I mean, I loved it. Like, to be honest with you, I have worked as a realtor for 3 years, almost 3 years. I've been working with different wholesalers for almost 2 years, because I do work with investors, so I was always trying to find them deals. So I've been doing this for a while. But as an actual wholesaler, being in your program and actually learning from someone that does this on a daily basis, changes your perspective of everything, and the kind of people that you get to know, the kind of money that you get to make. Because
we're going to go to the deals you've closed so far in the program. Hold on there. She's like, I need to talk about the money I've been making. So, okay, you close multiple deals a month in the program, right? So go on. What else were you saying?
So it has been a life-changing experience, to be honest with me. That's with you. I always make good money as a realtor. I'm not gonna lie, but there's always ways to be better and make better money. I mean, no one can say that making money it's not like it buys happiness, but it definitely helps out. And
there's a lot of problems, right?
Yeah. So no, definitely. Just when we did the actual seminar and we went and we looked at properties, actually seeing it from someone that does this on a daily basis, because in this business, not everyone's willing to help. Even if you pay them, they see you as a competition. They don't think you should be doing the same thing that they're doing. So yeah, I have, I'm so glad I joined your program, to be honest with you.
It is a pleasure. Literally, it is a pleasure having students like you, to be honest, because you just go out and you take action. At the end of the day, that's what it is. So the seminar that you're actually talking about was a exclusive private only event that I threw in Houston for all of my WRE 101 high level students. And the room was packed. We went out to properties. We did property tours. That was fun, right? That was pretty awesome to see.
It was super fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Because, I mean, it actually gives you, like a different perspective. Like, it actually shows you how you as an investor can go into a property and be like, oh, I can convert this into a duplex if I want to, and maximize the income basically that you can make off of a property.
Absolutely. So you just recently closed like a $10,000 assignment fee. Like it was something astronomical, right?
Yes.
Walk us through that deal. And I'm super proud of you for doing that. That was a phenomenal deal. So walk us through that deal. How did you get that deal? And how did you approach the seller all the way from contracting to closing?
Okay, so this deal, it was actually a property that really didn't need any rehab. The only thing is that this property, it's located in a neighborhood that's known because it floods. Like River Plantation, it's in Conroe, and it floods all the time. So I was like, oh my God, what am I getting myself into? But because we sold it, as an investment property instead of retail value, we were able to find, a buyer and get it sold. But basically, I scheduled an appointment with them because I really wanted to make sure, with the sellers, because I really wanted to make sure that the property didn't need any repairs, like they said, because sellers can tell you one thing, and when you go to the property, it's something totally different. So I did.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did that. I went, I met with them, I built rapport with them. And then I found out that they were trying to sell because they were trying to travel the country. Basically, they got an Airstream, so they needed to sell quick. And that's the reason why, this deal worked out, because and even, I went, after actually getting the property contracted for X amount, I went back and I renegotiated the deal because,
Where did you learn? Where did you learn how to renegotiate a deal?
Yeah. So I renegotiated the price to make this deal work.
Absolutely. And you know what's the best part about having some amazing students like you? You listen. And I said, Roxanna, you've got a contract. We got a buyer. Now we're going to go in for the renegotiation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You were like, Ron, I didn't even know if I should get this under contract. Like, I didn't know if I was going to move it. And I'm like, what did I tell you? Get it under contract.
Yes.
I know for a fact that we ran the numbers, we ran the ARV, we ran the comps. I'm like, get it under contract, you'll be okay. So, yeah. And that's the most important thing about a mentor, right? Because when you're on that cliff, right, and you see that beautiful turquoise, water, and you're trying to, jump, and then all of a sudden you've got that friend next to you, and then they jump with you, and you're like, all right, I got this, right? So that is awesome. So I'm glad you took that leap of faith. And I'm glad you're part of the WRE 101 mentorship program, and you're killing it. You truly, Norberto say you're unstoppable. I think you truly are, because you're getting a multifamily deal under contract too to wholesale. Mm-hmm. We were running numbers on that earlier today. Mm-hmm. So that is freaking awesome. Now, have you had any bad experiences with mentors? Let me ask you about that, because Tori said she had a bad experience with her mentor. Her last mentor left her hanging, literally. So I don't know, was she literally, like, was she on like on a cliff or what?
Well, to be honest with you, no. I mean, Ron has been my mentor, and he's been the best mentor anyone can ask for. So no, I haven't had that experience. I'm sorry that you went through that. But there's always other people that you can try to get knowledge from. I don't think, in this business, you're gonna have good people, you're gonna have bad people, you're gonna have people that are willing to help you and people that are not. But just make the right connections. That's all I can say.
100%. Finding the right mentor is absolutely crucial, right? Mm-hmm. Zucky says it can't be just any mentor. # Ron Rana. All right.
Yeah.
Zucky's we're gonna talk about him later on. That's off the record. So he's doing phenomenal too. So All right, let's move forward. Right now that we went over the marketing, we went over about you, about your city. What is in the future of your real estate career? Where do you want to take yourself in the next 5 years?
Well, I just want to grow my business as a wholesaler. I just registered my LLC. I'm going to start contracting deals, under my LLC now. So I want to build a team. Basically, that's what I want to do. And then
you want to scale, right?
Yes. Yep. And then, wholesale in the future, maybe in other states, expand in Texas as well. So yeah, that's pretty much what I want to do. Just, scale my business.
Okay, absolutely. Scaling your business and delegating is very, very important. And you are actually on track to scale and delegate now. Now that you've got many deals under your belt, right? So now you're ready to scale your business and hire acquisition people, right?
Yes.
Distribution people, CEO. We're gonna show you all of that, and don't worry about that. You're definitely are in good in regards to that. So perfect. Awesome. Now let me ask you this, right? How has your struggles defined your success?
Oh, well, I'm the type of person that, the more no's I get, the more yes I want. So nothing comes easy in life, especially not when, you're trying to make good money. You're going to have people that are going to be ugly to you on the phone, that are going to tell you this and that, but you're also going to have people that are willing to sell these properties to you. So, I don't pay too much attention to the no's. I'll just, try to nurture the yeses and get them under contract. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So you're running into issues daily, right? Is that stopping you from doing your business?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No,
I think that's a huge gem alert for a lot of the people, because for every no you get, you're closer to a
yes.
There you go. So you see why she's like my rock star student. She listens to everything that I tell her. So awesome.
I'm like, let me write it down. And then you're talking and I'm writing, and I'm like writing even faster.
Yeah, because I talk like 500 miles per hour.
I'm like, Ron, slow down.
I'm like, blah, 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 blah. All right, next. Awesome. Well, that's how it should be, right? Because at the end of the day, we cater to everybody. If you're slow at learning, we'll slow it down. But Roxanna is so fast. When you came into the program, you're like, the first thing you told me was, I want the advanced stuff. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, yeah, Ron. Okay, well, here we go. But right, so I'm only just doing what you asked me to do. So yeah. Awesome, good stuff. What I want you to do, Roxanna, is look at this podcast 2-3 years from now when you have your team and you're manifesting it right now. You're saying it out into the universe, because I remember my first podcast when I did it, I talked about, teams and scaling and operations and multiple deals and, X, Y, and Z. So that is awesome. I mean, I'm just excited about your journey in general, right? And of course, we're coming to the end of our podcast. It was truly great interviewing people who are doing the business in today's market. Most importantly, it's great interviewing my students who are crushing it, right? So if anybody wants to connect with Roxanna, okay, we will tag her in the comments, okay? If you're looking on YouTube right now, or if you're on Facebook, you can get in contact with her. I'm sure she is a very busy person. Don't bombard her with questions. But Roxanna, do you want to, if you don't have to, but if you want to share your email address, we can type it here for everybody. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
definitely. I'm more than willing, to help. So my email, it's Roxanna, just like my name, Roxanna. And then real estate, so REAL, and then ESTATE @ outlook.com.
All right. So it's Roxanna Real Estate at Outlook.com. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that correct right there on the screen?
Yes.
All right, guys. So if you have any questions, we're going to take some last minute questions for Roxanna. I'll let you guys go ahead and drop them. So far, we've had phenomenal information. Tori said good information, Roxanna. Awesome. Good stuff. We appreciate you tuning in. So what is something you want to leave for the viewers? Something, a takeaway for your viewers.
Okay. Basically it's to just keep working, on getting those deals. Don't get defeated just because you got a couple of no's. This is a full-time career, to be honest with you. This can make your life so much better. So if you get no's at the beginning, you're just gonna have to keep working, and eventually you'll get those yeses. You'll get those properties under contract, and it's gonna get so much easier with time. Looking back at my first call with a seller, as a wholesaler, I was, I made my mistakes or whatever, but now it comes out naturally, like I'm talking to a friend, and so everything gets easier with time. Learning how to run comps, everything, it gets easier with time just because you're doing it every single day.
100%. I agree with you wholeheartedly. All right. Well, that's all the time we had. Roxanna, it was a true pleasure having you on the
Thank you so much.
Anarchy podcast. You enjoy your trip whenever you go out of town. You've definitely deserved it. Again, guys, thank you guys for tuning in to the Real Estate Anarchy podcast. Roxy, did you want to leave the viewers with any last parting comments?
And invest in your marketing. You need to invest money to make money.
Boom! Yes. That is okay. So that's the best thing. Like that's the best thing you've said literally all night, right? Is invest in your marketing, invest in yourself, right, guys? So again, if you have any questions, reach out to Roxanna, and she will definitely, help you in any way she can. If you have questions about the WRE 101 program, we have many success stories coming out of the program. All right. We have Roxanna here who's closing multiple deals a month, being my one-on-one high-level mentee. I'm super excited for her. She's on her way to building a multi-million-dollar real estate wholesaling company. And I can't wait to see your growth even more. Roxanna, you're somebody who's out there, who takes action, who listens, right? And at the end of the day, if you don't work, this doesn't work, right?
Exactly. So, yes.
And your biggest, superpower is that you do the work, you listen, you don't question about it because you know it works. And that's one smart thing that a lot of successful people do is that they know how to invest their money with the right people, right? So awesome. Roxy, thank you so much once again.
Thank you for having me
on the podcast. Thank you guys so much. Again, Ron Rana signing out. Peace out.